So today we're going to talk about being a little bit like water. And in this case, we're going to be talking about working on you first, or for myself in this case, working on me first before I start reaching out to helping someone else work on them. In most cases, it's easier to help other people with their problems. Well, of course, we can see problems in other people. It's generally going to be easy that way. It's kind of like iron sharpens iron, right? Well, we still need that for ourselves. We need to sharpen our own iron sometimes, kind of like a self-reflection. We see it in a lot of leaders, right? A lot of leaders do self-reflection so they can identify things in themselves as far as how they can better help you become a better you. This reminds me of Friedrich Nietzsche, and he said something to the extent of the strength of a person's spirit would then be measured by how much truth he could tolerate, or more precisely, to what extent he needs to have it diluted, disguised, sweetened, muted, or falsified. Now, of course, that just goes to show he had a perspective on how sometimes you may have to sugarcoat things for some people because they'd much rather have you not give it to them so harshly. So I guess that's okay if you don't want to really help that person. So you just want to be real with yourself and make sure that whenever you're doing your self-evaluation that you're truly honest. And it's almost like going back to the Bible reference of we want to make sure that we do it as unto the Father as well. So what do you have to hold on to, and what do you have to get rid of in your ways of being, like in your day-to-day life? You know, there's 24 hours in a day. What are you feeding your brain when you first wake up in the morning? What are you doing throughout the day as far as your daily routine? Is it beneficial for you? Does it provide you the steps to get you to your future, your passion, your dreams, your goals, your visions, the things that you love? If not, then you might ought to go ahead and start, focusing on what things you need to purify and take out of your life and put yourself on a really decent path forward. Almost like gold purification process is concerned, it's going to have to get brought up to a temperature of about 1,940 degrees Fahrenheit to really make sure that if there's any imperfections within the gold, that it would be brought up to the top so they can kind of skim it off the top. And it's a hot process. So if we relate that to our lives is not necessarily a hot process, but it is one that's fairly complicated. And we do have to look at it fairly deep as far as what we need to change and what we need to get rid of versus what we need to keep in our life. Some of us have bad habits that we really could break. And if we really look inside of ourselves, we'll see that those habits that we have, they don't produce value for us, right? Sometimes you might want to look at where you are in your private time, and what you do in your private time, does it equal productivity for your future? So remembering you only got 24 hours in a day, so you got to listen to that little bitty voice in your head. It's mandatory. And then you'll find your love. You'll find your passion. Now, back to the gold purification. It's kind of like once you go through that, you've endured a transformation. Reminds me of Bruce Lee, what he was saying. Bruce Lee said, be like water. Empty the mind. Be formed. Shape it. Like water. You put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water in a teapot, it becomes the pot. Water can flow and water can crash. Be water, my friend. And so it's like when we look at being like water, as far as our character, our way of being, we have a voice in our head that's guiding us to be like water. Some of us get caught up in the let's shelf that idea and then let's move forward in something else. But being like water says, make sure that there's a proper balance between what you're supposed to be doing and what you actually choose to do. And is it going to cause you to have a nice flow in your life, as far as in your mind, your relationships, your family, your friends, your jobs? Or is it going to have a crashing effect as far as like chaos and confusion and suffering and being miserable and hopelessness? These are things that have been present in most cases when it comes to self-suffering, because a lot of people just, they're not being like water. They're going against the resistance of their own mind. And in reality, sometimes all you have to do is just stop and be like water.